I believe the OMAD diet is something that is very beneficial for people to try. At least try once in their life, see how their body does. And one thing that people wonder is, how can I know if I'm ready? How do I know if I'm ready to try OMAD? And one thing that I want to share with you, many things actually, is to first of all consider if you're already eating relatively healthy. I'm not asking you to eat the cleanest diet in the world, but if you go from a very processed food diet and just full of junk food and kind of foods that you know are not the most beneficial for your body, and you jump to fasting for so many hours, it might be too much for your body. You might need to first maybe take out some of those foods, add a little more vegetables or whatever resonates with you. I'm not telling you what to eat. I'm not here to try to convince people to eat a specific diet. I feel like OMAD is more of an approach to eating, because it fits any kind of diet that you want to do. But you might need to kind of switch your diet to a more healthy one before you jump to doing so much fasting, because as we all know, that there's a lot of detoxing when you're fasting, especially longer fasts. But even if you do OMAD, you're not eating for 22, 23 hours, your body's gonna be going through a lot if you're not eating relatively healthy. So I would consider that first. Just be honest with yourself. There's nothing more beautiful than just being honest with ourselves, not being really harsh and just criticize everything you do and analyze your whole life, and just being honest with yourself so you can see where you might benefit from some changes. So are you eating relatively healthy? Another one is, are you drinking enough water? I know there's a lot of different ideas on this, and which kind of water, spring water, distilled water, same thing. I'm not going to tell you what to drink. I'm just asking, are you drinking enough water? And there's a ton of different ideas on how much is enough. I would say at least 8 cups. Like, that recommendation, I feel like it's very general. If you're doing exercise and if you have an active lifestyle, I believe more is better. If you're going to do fasting, I believe more is better. The body needs water for every chemical reaction. I'm not going to go further into that, because I know people are going to say, oh, but yeah, whatever. Whatever. So are you drinking enough water? The other thing is, have you done any kind of intermittent fasting? If you haven't done any kind of intermittent fasting and you jump to OMAD, it will most likely be too much. I would suggest starting with the 16-8 approach. So a 16-hour fasting window and you eat in an 8-hour window. That's the simplest, easiest one to do. So if you finish your dinner, let's say at 8 p.m. or so, then you wait 16 hours until you have your first meal. So that'll be around lunch. At lunch, but it depends for people what they're used to. So 16 hours fasting and then an 8-hour window. When you get more used to that, you can push the window further. But if you haven't done any kind of intermittent fasting, jumping to OMAD might be way too freaking much, way too much. So just consider that. And the other thing is that if you've done any kind of detox, if you've never done any kind of detox, and you jump to OMAD, it might be too much. It might be way too much for your body to be able to handle, because you're not used to, and you might, as we all do, I'm not judging anyone, but we all have a ton of toxins in our body that build up from the air, the water, the food, everywhere. If you've never done any kind of detox and then you jump to doing a 23-hour fast, that might be way too much for your body to be able to handle. So just consider those ideas. Consider those and see what you think, see what resonates with you, and just consider that. And the other thing, of course, is if you have any medical conditions, I would talk to someone. Many doctors, of course, are a little scared of fasting for so many hours. Not judging, but not everyone understands. And I'm not saying that I fully understand it, but the physiology of what happens when you're fasting and the benefits and all that. So just consider that as well. You might ask a doctor that doesn't agree with that, and he'll say no. But I'm not telling you what to do when it comes to that. I don't want to get into any trouble. I'm sharing my experiences, my opinions. These are just my ideas. But if you talk to a holistic health practitioner or any kind of functional medicine specialist and all that kind of stuff, they're more familiar maybe with the benefits of fasting, intermittent fasting, and they might realize that it might be beneficial for you. But check with them first. Trying to think of what else. But then also remember to listen to your body, listen to the feedback that your body's giving you. If you try the 16-8 approach and it's too much for you, don't do OMAD. You might not be ready, or it might not be for you. This diet is not for everyone. I don't feel bad if you're not quote unquote ready for OMAD. We never are. We kind of go through it, we experiment, we play with it, we see how our body does. We see what resonates, we see what feels better. And you don't have to do it every single day. If one day you're more physically active and you're getting hungry and you need to eat and whatever, just eat. It's okay, it's cool. No one's gonna hate you for that. I think that's it for this one. I'll keep it short. But just consider those if you're thinking of starting OMAD, and if you feel like, oh shit, am I ready? Am I not ready? What should I do? What do I need to do? Maybe just consider those ideas. Maybe work on your sleep a little bit. Maybe drink more water. Move a little throughout the day. Go for a little walk if you're not very active. Do something, some yoga, some whatever. Play around with those. Add more vegetables. If you can, switch to more organic foods. And as your body starts getting healthier, it'll be easier for you to do this. So just consider those ideas and see what happens. Let me know. More coming soon.